I'm in the process of resetting up my live show, and I found a Flyrack system that is probably my new favorite rack case for gear and music equipment. This is the Flyrack by Fiasco cases. They're really well designed for in-ear monitor racks, playback rigs, wireless gear, or just bringing around any gear that you want to put in a rack. They have options for 2, 4, or 6U racks, and they all fit into this nice heavy-duty case for transporting around from gig to gig. The racks are made out of birch plywood, which has a great balance of being lightweight but still very sturdy. One of my favorite things is that it has a cradle on the top for your laptop, which is perfect for my setup, and the front and back rails can even move forward or backwards depending on your needs. The road case also has a handle and wheels for transporting it around easily. They also stack very easily on top of each other if you have multiple ones, and just overall it's just a really well designed rack case if you're traveling or flying or even just going from show to show. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm redesigning my live show for the album that I just released. I'm programming like the live show for it. So in this video, I'm specifically showing you how I made it as more of a playback rig, but this also works for like an in-ear monitor rack or just bringing wireless or just whatever you need for your live shows. I was doing some research and I found these cases. I actually reached out to Fiasco Cases to see if they wanted to partner up on a video. They agreed and they sent one over for me. This is not a paid video or anything like that. All the opinions in this video are my own. I really like this case, but I'm going to go over it to see if this is something that is right for you and your needs. That's enough of the intro. Consider subscribing if you want to see more videos like this in the future, and let's check out the Fiasco Flyracks. So this right here is the 4U fly rack, and it is really lightweight, while at the same time it feels sturdy. It doesn't feel like it's going to break or be flimsy or anything like that. And if you want the laptop cradle, it actually just fits right here on the top. It just pops right in, and it fits perfectly on the top. Do keep in mind this is meant for a 16-inch laptop, which is a more common MacBook Pro configuration. Mine is the 14-inch, so it doesn't quite fit exactly, but it's a pretty easy fix. I just put a little bit of foam here on the sides, and it fits it really snug if you have a 14-inch MacBook Pro like I have. It has rack rails on the front and the back, which is always really nice. This is really unique. You can see these 4 little slots on each side of the rack case. These each take like an Allen wrench. If you loosen them up, what you actually can do is you can actually slide the rack rails backwards or move them forward to fit your needs, which is pretty wild. I've never seen that. You can see here's a close-up. You can see if I need to move it back a little bit, I can move back or forward depending on what I need, which is really cool, especially if you have like long antennas that stick out a little bit. You can back it up a little bit, and then you don't have to worry about taking the antennas off. Just make sure once you have it set where you want, you remember to tighten with the Allen wrench again. Flipping it over, you can see it has these feet on the bottom so that you can actually stack these on top of each other. And it also fits perfectly in the case with this. And it also has venting on all sides in order to keep it from overheating when you're using it live. And this is the polyproof case. Very nice case. It will definitely keep it protected while you're traveling or flying or whatever you need. You can see these grooves right here, and that's exactly how the rack case fits in here, and it won't move around at all. It sits just perfectly snug in here. But you can see when I put it in and I try to move it around, it doesn't budge at all. It leaves a little bit of space on all 4 corners for like cables and stuff like that, but it's not going to move around. For the guy in the comment section who goes, well, it wiggled around a little bit when he touched it, it also has foam on the top as well to keep it completely snug, top and bottom and all 4 corners. It's not going to move around at all. I can put the laptop in on the top if I want, and it closes up. You got handles on 3 sides of it. And on this side, it has a handle that pulls out, and it has wheels so that you can walk around for easy transporting, which makes it easy to bring this around airports or gigs or wherever you're bringing it to, which is really cool. Slippers are not included. All right, so let's put the rack together. So in order to attach your gear, you do have to use these clip nuts and screws. Yes, I said clip nuts, but you put those on the rails and then you can screw in your equipment. It can be a little tricky to get those to sit just right, just FYI. But first thing that's going in here is a FURMAN power conditioner. This is the PL8C. If you didn't see my NAMM video from earlier this year, FURMAN did a really good demo on why this is a really good rack mount power conditioner that cleans up your power. Check out that video if you're interested. Next up is the SHURE SLX-D quad. This is a quad wireless receiver system in a single U of rack space, so 4 wireless and 1 U of rack space. Really good at being spatially efficient, not taking up a whole bunch of room, and getting 4 wireless on just a pair of antennas in 1 U of rack space. I also have a video going over this if you're interested. Very, very cool. And last but not least, I have this shelf. I need to put a couple of things on top that aren't meant for a rack, like my HX Stomp and stuff like that. I went with just a shelf instead of a sliding shelf because a sliding shelf is heavier, and I don't think I really need to get access to the stuff that's on this shelf. But if you guys have some of your favorite sliding rack drawers, shelves, let me know down in the comment section. So here's draft one of the finished product. Anyone who makes a rack case knows you always end up changing it eventually, but this is my starting point. I'm pretty happy with it. FURMAN power conditioner, SHURE SLX-D quad, and then a couple of things up here on the shelf. And I have my MacBook Pro, which is running Ableton, all on the top. Everything that I need for my show, performing a spiral cell, is in this rack. If you're curious what I put on that shelf, I have my HX Stomp. HX Stomp is perfect because I can send audio and receive MIDI to Ableton via USB. One cable sends audio in and receives MIDI. I never actually have to touch my HX Stomp, and it will send the MIDI messages for me. I have a video going over that if you're interested. I'm not sold on this vocal effect processor. I need some sort of vocoder for the performance. This might go. I'm not fully set on it. This is currently being powered by the MyVolt Step Up via USB-C. This is a really cool device that allows you to power your 9, 12, and 15 volt gear with USB-C. Really great for cable management. I do have a video going over that as well. For the audio interface, I went with a MOTU Ultra Mark V. I asked Perplexity AI which audio interface has the most outputs in the smallest amount of space, and it found this one. If you want to see how I use Perplexity to solve some of my gear questions, I do have a video going over that as well. And this right here is the MVP. It actually can stack right on top of it. This is a really cool device that is used for my lighting and video. I can sync all of my lighting and my video with this standalone device. I just send MIDI messages to it, and it will output full video and full lighting cues. I can take the load off of Ableton and not have to worry about crashing my computer. Really cool device as well. Check out my video on that. This is draft one, and I'm going to have to figure out some of the cabling and the power, but hey, that's all a part of putting together a rack, and I do have some tips for you. So let's put it in the polyproof case. One of the things you're going to notice is depending on how deep some of your gear goes, here's some tips in order to make it fit better. You can see if you have like an IEC cable that's sticking out of the back, it kind of fits, but this is way too close for my comfort. You actually can get right angle IEC cables that will help it fit a lot better. I'll link to those down below. Also, remember how I mentioned the MyVolt Step Up where I was powering my pedal with USB? Well, I also had the same problem where this little USB adapter was sticking out, so I just ordered these to also make it fit a little bit better. The power for my HX Stomp fit just fine. There's also these bendable plugs, which I went over in my 10 items for an in-ear monitor rack. Those can also be very helpful as well. There are also these if your power supply sticks out too much, and I like these because the prongs can be rotated in which way you need them to be. I'll link to all of those down below so you can make sure that your gear fits. You can see that there is enough room in the front and the back for a little bit extra space, which is great. The antennas to the SLX-D quad have enough room. It is close right here. That is with the rack rails all the way forward. I can either take those antennas off or I can slide the rails back just slightly. So you do have options, which is what's really cool about this. The FURMAN power conditioners, I wish they had IEC cables to attach so I could determine the length that I need of the cables. But this is also cool as I can actually just tuck the cables all around the side because there's enough room on all four corners of this case. So it actually fits perfectly. Everything is in here. Everything is very well protected and I'm good to go. Just a very well designed and well thought out rack case. I really like it. As of the time of shooting, the 2U and the 4U rack are both listed at $529, and the 6U is listed at $599. They do have versions without the polyproof case, but I think they fit perfectly together, and I personally wouldn't get one without it. Links to check it out more will be available down below in the description. So this was exactly what I was looking for. I haven't decided if I need to upgrade to the 6U rack case yet. I told you that vocal processor I'm kind of on the fence on. I really like the Voice Live stuff by TC Helicon, but that's going to take up much more room. So I'd either have to get the 6U case, or what's brilliant about these is that they stack really well on top of each other. So I could just get a separate 2U rack case and just stack them. They stack very easily. I mean, how many times have we redesigned a rack? This is part one. I know everyone watching who has set up their own rack for in-ear monitors or playback or whatever, you've redesigned it probably like 8 times like I have. The main thing I would say, just make sure you check the depth of your equipment. The depth is what's important. So the depth of this inside is 13.8 inches. So that FURMAN power conditioner fit perfectly in there, but it helps to have that right IEC cable. I did check to see if the PreSonus Studio Live 16 fit in there, and it did fit perfectly. I did a video on this, especially if you're doing an in-ear monitor rack. This is 16 channels and just a single U of rack space. So it's pretty cool. It does fit perfectly in there. So you would want to get a right angle IEC cable if you do that as well. All of the cables and little adapters adapters and stuff like that, the IEC cables and MyVolt stuff. I'll link to all of that stuff down below in the description, in addition to the different Fiasco cases as well. And also just check out their website. They've got a lot of cool stuff. Their polyproof cases are really nice. They have a lot of cool stuff just like for cases and stuff for musicians and for live shows. Again, many thanks to Fiasco for sending this over. This makes me want to update some of my other rack gear as well. And hopefully you found this video helpful. And if you did find this helpful, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. It only takes a second and it truly does help support the channel. If you want to check out my video on that SLX-D quad systems, that's just a really cool way to have 4 wireless in just a single U rack space with a pair of antennas, and you can actually cascade 2 of them together, and you can have 8 wireless in a 2U rack with just a single pair of antennas. And also check out my video on that MyVolt step up. That's a way to power your 9, 12, and 15 volt gear with USB. Very nice for cable management as well. You can check out both of those videos by clicking the links on your screen now. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any other cool gear you want me to check out, please leave them as a comment down below. Don't forget to follow me on my social media pages at SCOTTUHLMUSIC on pretty much all of them. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.